You gotta go. Well, you gotta go get it.
Yeah.
And once you get it, I said, well, okay, they're being interned not because they're Japanese, but because they're the enemy. And then I thought it through, the enemy during the war. And then I thought it through. But we didn't intern German people of German descent, even though we were at war with Germany, or people with Italian descent. So, so it was really just if you look like who bombed us in Pearl Harbor, and you're on the West Coast, you're going into the camp.
That's exactly
It's
right.
basically a racist concept.
Basically, yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. And only now, in the past several years or decades, have scientists tried to understand this concept of race. What is it actually? Even though it's so dominant in all human transactions, it remains a mystery scientifically. The reality is that we human beings, and you know this as well as I do, we are wired to discriminate.
Wired for
Literally.
tribalism.
Yes, we are wired to discriminate between whether or not that rustle in the trees is a predator or whether it's a food source.
Or someone who's not well dressed.
Someone who
Right.
we when we find chairs, we don't have to test every chair to see whether or not it bear our weight. We naturally sit down because our brains have organized these things called chairs into things we can sit down on. And only very rarely will they break when we sit down. And so when we translate that to the 21st century, our ideas of difference, our ideas of what are the same, what is safe, what we fear, they're all wired in thousands and maybe even millions of years of evolution. It's a lot of effort to overcome that, even today. But
We're victims of our own evolutionary path.
Very much so. And we have to be aware of that, right? Because 100 years ago, people who looked like me were stupid. We could only work on the railroad. Maybe we could wash your clothes.
And
Maybe
now
we
the
could,
stereotype is different.
yes.
That Asians are great at math and science.
Right. How did we change so rapidly in 100 years? Right?
Are you good at math and science?
Yes.
Okay.
But the
Case made.
But the point is precisely that, right? Now the discrimination, ironically, is in the other direction, as it has now been shown that Asian people are discounted almost 150 points in their SAT scores in terms of getting into prestigious colleges compared to
This is so
non-Asian
good
people.
at the test taking.
Precisely. You see how that switches, and it's easy to make that error.
I say we're all messed up.
We are, but
We are.
the more we